Some machines don't just till dirt, they redraw the line between last year's harvest and next year's yield. The disc harrow is one of them, a wall of spinning steel that slices, buries, and levels in a single roaring pass. But not every disc is created equal. A handful of them changed farming forever, cutting faster, digging deeper, and lasting longer than anything before. These are the 10 greatest disc harrows ever built. Let's dig in. Number 10. Rome Plow TAW and TRCW series. We start not with finesse, but with brute force. Rome Plow Company, based in Cedartown, Georgia, has spent decades building some of the heaviest, most punishing disc harrows on the planet. Machines with a reputation forged in both agriculture and land clearing. When most farmers picture a disc that can chew through sod, roots, and abandoned ground, they're picturing something built like a Rome. Take the TRCW wheel offset series. These run notched, deep concavity blades in 28-inch, 30-inch, and even 32-inch diameters, with the steel measured at 3/8 of an inch thick. A single TRCW blade can weigh up to 384 pounds, and the machine is rated for tractors in the 84 to 193 horsepower range. It penetrates up to 9 inches deep, riding on greasable Timken dual-tapered roller bearings that are built to survive abrasive, rocky soil. But if the TRCW is heavy, the TRCW is monstrous. This is Rome's extreme deep plowing tool, running notched blades a full 36 inches across, with an optional 42-inch blade, each one half an inch thick. The weight per blade climbs to a staggering 1,092 pounds. Standard penetration is 13 inches with the 36-inch discs, stretching to 15 inches with the 42-inch option. That's not tillage, that's excavation. Rome builds these with rugged boxed angle construction, welded for maximum rigidity, and its hinge wheel offset models let the operator adjust gang angle from 0 to 45 degrees hydraulically, right from the seat. Adjustable scrapers keep the blades clean in sticky conditions, and the high gang carrier design prevents trash from clogging the frame. The Rome earns its place at number 10 not because it's the most refined machine on this list, it isn't, but because it represents the raw, unstoppable end of the disc harrow spectrum. When the ground is too hard, too wooded, or too neglected for anything else, this is the tool that turns wasteland back into farmland. It's the machine you call when nothing lighter will do. Number 9. Horsch Joker RT. From German engineering house Horsch comes the Joker RT, a compact disc harrow that made its name doing one thing exceptionally well, working shallow, fast, and clean. This is a high-speed short disc, and speed is precisely the point. The Joker RT runs Horsch's disc system with aggressively serrated discs measuring 52 centimeters, roughly 20 inches across. What sets it apart is the layout. The discs are arranged in pairs on their suspension, which opens up huge clearance for crop residue to flow through without plugging. Each disc rides on a maintenance-free rubber bearing that doubles as its stone protection, flexing to follow ground contours and absorbing shocks when the blade strikes an obstacle. It's offered in working widths of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12 meters, so it scales from mid-size farms right up to large contractors. And it moves. The Joker is comfortable working at speeds up to around 20 kilometers per hour, roughly 8 to 12 miles per hour, needing about 11 to 15 engine horsepower per foot of width to do it. What makes the Joker so respected is the finish it leaves behind. That combination of 20-inch notched disc, specific concavity, and blade angle sizes and mixes residue aggressively while keeping the dreaded tillage smear to a minimum. Behind the discs sits Horsch's Packer, the Rollflex or Roll Pack system, mounted close to the discs so depth control stays precise and consistent. The result is a fine, level black seedbed in a single high-speed pass. The Joker family goes further too. The heavier Joker HD Classic swaps in 62 centimeter discs and digs up to 15 centimeters deep, tackling grain maize straw and heavy residue in tougher soils, while the RX and CT variants cover everything from shallow surface work to smaller tractors. For farmers racing narrow weather windows, trying to get cover crops in or ground covered before rain, the Joker RT is the disc that buys back time. It's fast, aggressive on weeds, and superb for chemical incorporation, and that versatility lands it firmly at number 9. Number 8. Salford Independent Series 1200. Now for finesse. From the Salford Group in Ontario, Canada, the Independent Series 1200 represents a very different philosophy from the brutes we've seen so far. This is a true vertical triage machine, engineered to create the finest possible seedbed while managing residue with surgical precision. The heart of the i1200 is its independent blade mounting. Rather than bolting blades onto a shared gang shaft, Salford mounts each 20-inch boron steel blade on its own Coil-Tech coulter system, a 1¼ inch independent coulter, spaced just 5 inches apart. That tight spacing is the machine's signature. It gives the i1200 roughly 40% more blades and 39% more weight than the wider-spaced i1100, which runs 7-inch spacing. More blades, closer together, means two things. First, superior residue sizing and leveling. The i1200 does an outstanding job slicing and distributing tough fall stalks. Second, genuine mechanical weed control, something most vertical tillage tools can't claim. The tighter the spacing, the more of the soil surface gets worked. There's also a clever bit of physics at play. As those independent coulters run, they generate what Salford calls a jackhammer vibration, a rapid oscillation that fractures and reduces soil density below the working depth, improving how the ground stores air and moisture. You're not just tilling the surface, you're conditioning the profile beneath it. The blades come in 8-wave, 13-wave, or mixed configurations to match how aggressive you want the finish. Behind the coulters, the i1200 runs a 3-bar, half-inch tine harrow followed by a 14-inch rolling basket. That combination resizes clods, anchors residue to the surface, and leaves a level, planter-ready finish. Salford's independent mounts also excel at residue flow and obstacle protection, which lets the machine hold high speeds without plugging. Across the independent series, Salford offers widths from 12 to 60 feet, and many farmers run these tools in both fall and spring, often getting into marginal fields earlier than conventional machines allow. If your goal is a flawless seedbed and clean residue in one pass, the i1200 is one of the best finishers ever built, and that earns it number 8. Number 7. Amazon Catros. Some machines are great. A few actually define a category. The Amazon Catros is the second kind. When it launched in 2001, this German-built implement helped popularize the modern compact disc harrow concept, and in 2026 it celebrated 25 years in production, a milestone few tillage tools ever reach. The story starts in 1998, when the Amazon Group took over BBG Bodenbearbeitungsgeräte in Leipzig. Out of that came the Catros, a compact, 3-point mounted implement carrying 2 rows of aggressively angled, individually suspended concave discs. Each disc mounts on maintenance-free rubber buffer blocks, so it flexes over obstacles and needs no daily greasing. The standard Catros runs 510mm discs. That's the Catros Plus generation introduced in 2011, available in smooth, fine serrated and coarse serrated versions for working depths of 5 to 14 centimeters. For ultra-shallow surface work, Amazon offers the X-Cutter disc at 480mm, capable of intensive shredding at depths as little as 2 to 8 centimeters. And for heavy, deep tillage, the closely related Certos steps up to 660mm discs that penetrate all the way to 20 centimeters, chewing through maize stubble and sunflower residue without blocking. What makes the Catros special is the blend of speed and low draft. It's happy running at 10 to 18 kilometers per hour, delivering huge daily output while keeping fuel and wear costs down. The maintenance-free disc bearings use face seals, the same sealing technology proven for decades on the rollers of tracked construction machinery, filled with gear oil for total reliability. The range scales enormously from around 2.5 meters up to 12.25 meters of working width. Larger machines use Amazon's contour frame, with hydraulically pre-pressurized frame sections and individually suspended discs that follow undulating ground for full coverage. The newer smart frame system even lets the operator adjust working depth hydraulically from the cab, independent of any front tool. The Catros earns number 7 because it didn't just perform, it shaped how a whole generation of European farmers approached shallow stubble cultivation. A quarter-century of continuous refinement, and it's still setting the pace. Number 6. Wishek 862NT. If the Rome was our heavyweight brute, the Wishek 862NT is the tandem disc equivalent, a machine with an almost legendary reputation among farmers who have to break new ground. Built by Wishek Manufacturing and now part of the Väderstad family, the 862NT is what you reach for when the soil is too hard, too raw, or too matted for anything gentler. The number that defines this machine is weight. The 862NT weighs approximately 1,000 pounds per foot of implement, That's about 1,488 kilograms per meter, giving it one of the highest weight per blade figures in the entire industry. All that mass concentrates onto its extra-large 30-inch concave discs, spaced 13 inches apart, and forces them down into ground that would stop lighter discs cold. Those big concave blades can turn over enormous volumes of soil, working up to 7.5 inches deep. That makes the 862NT a top choice for breaking sod, burying heavy residue for faster decomposition, and mixing the hard upper soil profile so it manages easier come spring. Farmers commonly use it precisely because it penetrates and turns sod better than nearly any other tool. Wishek also built in real durability and self-protection. When a blade strikes a solid object like a rock, the gang travels in an arc, 6 inches rearward and 6 inches upward, a full 12 inches of movement, so it rides over the obstacle instead of shattering against it. Spring cushion models add even more flex. Behind the front gangs, feathering blades remove the ridges the front leaves behind, producing a more even soil profile. The blades come smooth or notched, with the notched option cutting heavy residue better, and cutting widths range from 10 all the way to 38 feet. Standard scrapers for the blades, bearings, and spools keep everything free of mud buildup, and the frame's reputation for lasting years, even decades, in punishing conditions is a big part of the legend. The Wishek 862NT isn't clever or fast. It's simply the workhorse you trust when the job is impossible for anything else. That reliability under extreme load makes it number 6. Number 5. Lemken Rubin 10. Back to Germany and to a machine that rewrote the rulebook on compact disc harrows. When Lemken replaced its long-running Rubin 9 with the Rubin 10 in 2019, it didn't just tweak the formula, it introduced one of the largest disc diameters in its class and solved a problem that had quietly plagued disc harrows for a century. That problem is side draft. On a traditional disc, the angled gangs push the whole machine sideways, forcing the operator and the tractor to constantly correct. Lemken's answer on the Rubin 10 was a symmetrical arrangement of every row of serrated concave discs, so the lateral forces on one side cancel out the other. The result is a machine that pulls dead straight with no side draft, a huge advantage when working on slopes and when running GPS guidance, and it reduces fuel consumption too. The 3 central discs are offset along the machine's length to prevent collisions and blockages. Then there are the discs themselves. The Rubin 10 uses through-hardened Duramax discs measuring an unprecedented 645 millimeters, about 25 inches, in diameter. Lemken says this surface-hardened steel delivers up to 30% longer service life than conventional discs. The line spacing is 14 centimeters, wide enough to handle large cereals, maize straw, and tall green manure crops without plugging, and the machine mixes intensively to a depth of around 14 centimeters. From a working depth of just 7 centimeters, the discs cover the full width. Lemken armored the whole tool for high-speed reliability. Each disc carries its own overload protection with a damped kickback that minimizes frame loads when it hits an obstacle. The bearings are maintenance-free angular ball bearings, sealed 6 ways over, so there's nothing to grease. And despite those huge 645mm discs, the folding Rubin 10 carries an EU-wide road license for speeds up to 40 km per hour. An integrated harrow behind the first disc row and a rear leveling harrow finish the job, crumbling and distributing soil for a seedbed-ready result in one pass. For combining big disc aggression with straight-line precision, the Rubin 10 lands at number 5. Number 4. Väderstad Carrier. From Sweden comes a machine that may be the most adaptable disc on this entire list. The Väderstad Carrier isn't built to do one job perfectly. It's built to do almost every disc job well, from ultra-shallow surface cultivation at high speed to deeper stubble incorporation, simply by changing its discs and packers. The Carrier's foundation is Väderstad's V55 Swedish steel. This is genuinely special metallurgy. Compared to a typical industry hardness of around HRC 47 to 48, the V55 discs are pushed to HRC 55. That means less wear, fewer replacement discs, and less downtime. And Väderstad backs its discs with a lifetime warranty. The disc options are where the versatility lives. The Carrier can run 450mm conical discs, 470mm true-cut discs with milled cutouts that keep a sharp, aggressive edge throughout the disc's life, or larger 510 and 610mm discs on the heavier XL machines. Most striking is the cross-cutter disc. a 450mm disc designed for full cultivation at an ultra-shallow working depth of just 2 to 3 centimeters at speeds up to 20 kilometers per hour. It excels in oilseed rape stubble and cover crops, creating a stale seedbed across the entire field. The engineering detail that ties it together is the disc geometry. The Carrier's discs are positioned in an X shape, so the lateral forces on each side cancel out, giving a dead straight run behind the tractor that's essential for GPS control and a major benefit on hilly ground. The conical disc shape maintains the same working angle no matter how worn the disc gets or how deep it runs, and its vertical attack angle prevents cultivation pans and keeps stones in the soil. The range spans from 3 meters right up to 12.25 meters of working width, with mounted trailed X, XL, and XT variants. A wide choice of packers, steel runner, rubber runner, soil runner, matches the finish to the soil, and the mountable BioDrill 360 seeder lets the Carrier drill cover crops in the same pass. For a single machine that can shape-shift from a 2-centimeter surface tool into an intensive stubble mixer, nothing does it better. The Väderstad Carrier takes number 4. Number 3. John Deere 2680H High-Performance Disc. Now we reach the machines that combine scale, speed, and technology at the very highest level, and few embody that better than the John Deere 2680H High-Performance Disc. This is Deere's answer to the modern demand for covering enormous acreage quickly while keeping precise, data-driven control over exactly how the soil is worked. Start with speed. The 2680H is a 2-season tool built to run up to 14 miles per hour, roughly 22.5 kilometers per hour, in the field. At those speeds, a wide machine can cover ground at a rate that older disc harrows simply couldn't approach. The design uses 20-inch blades on 10-inch spacing, with notched front blades to size residue and smooth rear blades to level. Crucially, every blade is individually mounted and supported by a rubber torsion element, allowing each one to travel up to 9 inches while passing over a rock or obstruction. That means the rest of the tool stays engaged and keeps working, and it lets the disc follow ground contour far better than a rigid gang. On the 3-section machines, the wings flex to stay engaged on hilly or terraced ground, and a single damaged blade can be swapped out on its own rather than pulling an entire gang. Then there's the technology. The 2680H integrates John Deere's TrueSet system, giving the operator in-cab control of depth and on premium setups down pressure. Paired with the John Deere Operations Center and the Prescription Creator tool, producers can build field-specific tillage prescriptions using past yield data, soil surveys, or freehand maps that command the implement to the ideal settings zone by zone. The machine scales across 15 configurations from 8 feet up to 45 feet, requiring roughly 11 to 15 horsepower per foot. Behind the discs, farmers choose from cage, spring, or rubber rollers, the versatile 25.5-inch cage roller for fall clod busting, the rubber roller for a firm spring seedbed. Greaseless bushings mean less daily maintenance and faster starts. As Deere transitions parts of the lineup to its newer HSD series, the 2680H stands as a landmark, fast, contour-following, and genuinely intelligent. That combination earns it number 3. Number 2. Case IH True-Tandem 375. At number 2 sits a machine that has become almost synonymous with dependable heavy-duty tandem disking across North America, the Case IH True-Tandem 375. If the John Deere is the technology flagship, the True-Tandem 375 is the rugged, no-nonsense workhorse built to manage the toughest residue and hardest dryland conditions season after season. The True-Tandem 375 covers working widths from 22 feet all the way to nearly 47 feet, offered in single-fold sizes of 22, 25, 28, 31, 34, and 37 feet, plus double-fold 42 and 47-foot models. That range, paired with its ruggedness, is a big reason it leads its class in reliability. The blades are the star. Case IH's earth metal blades are forged from pure boron alloy steel through an extremely precise process, so they hold their shape and resist breaking or bending. The company rates them around 30% stronger than typical industry blades. They come in 24-inch or 26-inch diameters on 9-inch spacing, with thicknesses of 5 mm or 6.5 mm. The 375 uses an industry-exclusive shallow concavity front gang paired with a standard concavity rear gang, which improves soil penetration and lets the machine run faster, up to 7 miles per hour. While a 26-inch blade option maximizes soil movement and mixing, there's real agronomic thinking in the geometry. Both gangs sit at an 18-degree angle in Case IH's symmetrical True-Tandem layout, distributing pull forces evenly left to right. Each blade runs on its edge so the soil explodes off it and levels with minimal backside pressure, which actually reduces compaction compared to conventional blades. The tool can till up to 4 inches deep in a single pass and slice through root balls with ease. Underneath, the machine is built to last. Nodular cast iron spools, 1.5-inch square gang bolts, a bolt and clamp gang mounting, and large stubble-resistant tires with independent wheels for a smoother ride. Modern versions add AFS soil command for a tilled mapping and prescription control, and rear attachments like the Tiger Paw Crumbler or Coil Tine Harrow tailor the finish. Tough, proven, and endlessly capable in heavy trash, the Case IH True-Tandem 375 earns number 2. Number 1. Kuhn Krause Excelerator 8000. And at number 1, the machine that arguably defined modern vertical tillage and set the benchmark that competitors still measure themselves against, the Kuhn Krause Excelerator 8000. What makes the Excelerator so significant is its whole philosophy. True vertical tillage means cutting residue and mixing soil straight up and down, without the soil shearing and smearing that damages the critical zone where seeds are placed and young roots develop. The Excelerator delivers this through an exclusive 4-step process, and it's built around one brilliant piece of engineering, the Excalibur VT blade. Each Excalibur blade is 22 inches in diameter, 5 millimeters thick, with a distinctive scalloped edge and an exclusive 32 flute design. Those flutes let the blade penetrate easily, create small clod sizes, and capture and slice tough GMO crop residue into planter-manageable pieces. The blades sit on 8-inch spacing on rigid bearing arms with regreasable super seal bearings and spring cushion gangs for protection. Here's the genius. The gang angle is adjustable from just 1 degree for maximum residue retention, up to 5 degrees for maximum soil movement and leveling. Those shallow angles are the whole point. They prevent the soil roll and inversion you get from older disc harrow technology, which typically runs gang angles anywhere from 10 to 22 degrees. The Excalibur blades are even designed to wear on both sides at these settings, so they keep a sharp edge over their whole life. The rear gang is indexed to the front to remove the maximum amount of uncut soil. Then the finishing tools take over. Exclusive rotary star wheel treaders aggressively mix soil and residue, pulverize clods, strip soil from disturbed root balls, and anchor residue into the surface to protect it from wind and rain and kickstart decomposition. Finally, the proven 24/7 soil conditioning reel sizes clods and firms the surface for that high-speed one-pass finish. The Excelerator 8000 comes in 20, 25, 30, and 40-foot working widths. It combines the residue slicing of a disc, the mixing of a tiller, and the finish of a field cultivator, without the smearing that hurts your seedbed. For redefining what a disc-style tillage tool could be, and doing it so completely that it became the standard others chase, the Kuhn Krause Excelerator 8000 is the greatest disc harrow ever built. Which one would you put at number 1? Drop it in the comments, tell us what you run on your own ground. And if you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Until next time, keep those blades sharp.